Hello and welcome to Art Hops. I'm your host, Amy Kohler Anderson, and this is the show where we match creative individuals with regionally brewed creations. Today we have paired Warped Wing's Ermals with Rodney Veal. Rodney, welcome.
Well, thank you for
Cheers.
having me, Amy. This is cool. This is way cool.
Take a sip and get started.
Okay.
So, Rodney, I came across this quote that you had, and for me it was the starting point for the show that we have titled "Outside Your Comfort Zone."
Okay.
So the quote is, "I had the immense joy of working with my fellow Blue Sky resident artists, all who encouraged me to work outside my comfort zone." So tell us a little bit, what is Blue Sky Project and how the heck did you get to be a part of it?
Okay. Well, Blue Sky Project was an artist residency program that was at UD. It originally started in near Chicago. It was started by Peter Binkendorf and Makita Ahuja, who was this fabulous artist, and Peter is this community activist. And they brought this program from outside of Chicago to Dayton, Ohio. And it miraculously showed up at UD. And
a good place for it.
I think it felt like a good fit. And the program is they pick five artists from any discipline. You could be in music, you could be in dance, photography, visual arts, interdisciplinary, it didn't matter. And they paired you with how many students did I have? I had 10. 10 high school age students.
Oh, wow.
And one college student
an
intern.
Mm-hmm.
And the process was you worked with them in a collaborative way to create your work for 8 weeks. So you spent 8 weeks working and developing this project. And this is back in 2009. And I was kind of like really shocked at the time I was in grad school. So it was kind of this crazy, like I'm applying for a fellowship, this kind of artist residency.
Let's add
to the mix. Like, I want to do a thesis project, and then I want to apply to a residency.
Right,
but the fact that it was here in Dayton, I thought this is unheard of. It was new. And I applied and got in, and I was working with artists from Chicago and Seattle.
Because this was a national call.
This was an international call.
International.
So they've had international students, and the program did last for a couple of years after that. And just, it's an international call. And so here you are, working side by side with people who were professors at the Art Institute of Chicago, and just okay, who am I? Who am I? Touching yourself, who am I? And just this great group of people who are just phenomenal artists in all these different disciplines. And we all worked in our own disciplines, but we had opportunities to collaborate. So that was another great thing about it. And so we would have these, how to describe it, like these weekly meetings with the artist to kind of go over our work and kind of visit each other's studios and kind of give feedback. And and the whole thing was challenging you, not necessarily to say that's not a good idea or that's a bad idea. It was like, can you do more? And that was the first time. Akita is phenomenal. She's this phenomenal lady, a painter. If you see her work, this lady's a total badass. If I can say that on the show, she's a total badass. I think I just said it. Yeah. And I proposed something that I had never done before, and that was create an installation with dance, video projections, and visual arts, because that was part of my background. And she said, "Can you make it bigger?" I was kind of like a surprise. Like, I guess I hadn't really thought big enough in scope and scale. Okay, go for broke was basically kind of her mantra. It was like, well, there's more in you. Go. It's a great idea, but keep going. And so it ended up being this fantastic 8-week journey of just making little dances and videotaping and buying equipment and supplies, and I mean, it was and the ultimate culminating project was called "To Me, You're a Work of Art," and it was kind of my and my group's sort of take on how we feel about Dayton, Ohio, and the state of Dayton, Ohio. And it was just 2009, right at the height of
That was a tricky time.
Tricky
It's
time,
interesting. Yeah.
very, very tricky times. Economic recession, and so we ended up creating on the. It's still there, but it's now apartments or condos. The Excelsior building.
Oh, right. Yes.
We were on the 3rd floor, and I installed a pool of water, an entire field of sod, and a stage, and a wall with fabric with video projections. And I had dancers. I had kids in the group who were performing who were non-dancers dancing. And
nice.
We got people from other groups wanted to participate. People in the community wanted to participate. We had to haul all of this stuff up to the 3rd floor on a freight elevator. Like pallets of sod. I mean, that's
oh, man.
not my area. Talk about like, oh, is this going to work?
Yeah,
comfort zone. And it was just phenomenal. It was a phenomenal experience. This dawning realization that I like this sort of epic.
Yeah.
Try anything once sort of
Exactly.
concept of art making.
Exactly.
And it really, I was a classical ballet dancer up until that point. And then all of a sudden here I am working with
So that was the first time that you got out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I think I've seen a few pictures which they show collaboration with a violinist and a painter, and there's paper cuts. Is that also from Blue Sky?
That was also, that was a great thing. That was a collaboration that happened after the Blue Sky experience, because what Blue Sky really, truly did was bring together a group of artists and made them a family. We didn't know each other before, but by having this shared experience that was so intense and so profound that we stayed friends. We're still friends. As a matter of fact, Shapong, who is the violinist, and Catherine Mann, she and I ended up coming back together in 2012 and collaborating on a work here in Dayton.
Okay, that's what I saw the footage of.
That's what you saw the footage of.
Because I was trying to figure out, did Blue Sky, were you a part of it for many years? Because I kept seeing all these different...
Once you're part of Blue Sky, you're never alone.
Yes, excellent.
Which is great, because it was such a cool thing that we were all pushing each other. I mean, we got to collaborate, and here's a painter who wanted to dance, and a violinist who wanted to paint, and a dancer who wanted to sing. I did some vocalizing.
You sing? Oh.
Let's define, define singing. But we just this sense of like, let's try it, and so we still, we stay in touch, it's like, it's because of just how profound that experience is. Right. When you are having a kind of birth process of making art in a different way. I mean,
Is this collaboration how that room full of paint? I see these pictures of you, and you're just covered in paint, and the room is covered in paint. And is that part of this too?
Part of it too. Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that looks like fun.
Yes, Catherine's process is to kind of throw paint onto canvases and surfaces and create, and let the paint settle, and then come back in and build structure and form based upon where it naturally just kind of flows on the paper or the canvas. That was the first time she had ever done anything that was like a mural, like the entire immersive environment. Yeah. And so we're sitting on all things. We're at Buffalo Wild Wings of all things, and we're at a table with Makita, and Catherine's there, and she said, "Well, why don't you dance while she's throwing the paint?" And I thought, well, let's try it.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Word of caution, if you're getting paint thrown at you, you should probably wear safety goggles. Oh my God, right in the eye. But it was such a great, fun experience. She had never done something that large of a scale, and I had never danced in a different environment of movement.
Right.
We just went for it. It was so cool.
Did you find it liberating, or did you find it a little tricky? Because I mean, you're not dealing with a stable surface here.
Oh yeah, that was tough. That was a lot. You had to navigate it in the moment and still maintain that you are this performer and that there's integrity to it. And so we were also filming it as well. So that was like a whole it was a real test of not only your skills but just your commitment. And I was just present.
And I was going to say, it sounds like you just really had to be in the moment.
And I love that. I was like, yes, I'm in the moment. I don't have to worry about anything. This is great, except for paint the eye. Exactly. But it just turned out so beautifully, and that's the Blue Sky experience in a nutshell. It's such a game changer for you. Artistically and personally. It taught me that my voice mattered and that I could ask for things. that was the biggest thing that I learned.
Yeah.
You can ask for things and no one's really going to say no.
Yeah.
And yeah, crazy ideas, dream them up.
Heck yeah. Well, speaking of crazy ideas, well, first let's talk about our pairing a little bit first before we get into the next craziness that you've encountered. I decided to pair you up with Warped Wing because
cool.
I think I mentioned to you, I just totally, I don't know, the idea of Warped Wing to me sounded like a move that a modern dancer might make. You know? It was just like, I could just see, Rodney, first do the Warped Wing and then a I don't know any
pirouette
dance.
Lateral fall to the floor. You know,
exactly.
Like, yeah. No, it does sound like a
so
dance
I thought
move.
that would be good. And Ermal's is one of their signature beginning or core beers from when they first opened.
Okay.
And it's light and refreshing. You could drink this and then go dance up a storm.
And it's going down really well.
Yeah.
I like it.
We gotta, as we said, we got to pace ourselves. It's still early in the day, but it is light octane, and it was funny because I have a friend that pretty much only drinks Bud Light, and no. Well, I just won't say anything about Bud Light. But anyways, but he loves Ermal's.
Oh,
and
God.
It's sort of like the gateway beer to craft beer.
I think it's a nice introduction because it's light without it. It has a flavor. It has a texture. It has you're not going to be like walking around going, this is definitely not Bud Light.
Right.
I mean, but it's nice.
Right.
It's just got a.
Well, so not only for the reasons that I expressed, but also Warped Wing opened in 2014. Mm-hmm. So they opened their doors to Dayton and created a new experience in Dayton. And in 2014, you started something new too called The Art Show. It's a fabulous program on Think TV. And if anyone wants to see it, they do have the episodes on their website.
We do have it on the website.
And you guys are now in your third season, correct?
We just wrapped our third season. Okay. We're heading into our fourth. The third season is still airing. You know, because it is PBS and Think TV. We're in pledge month, so. But a new episode to be back in the next couple of weeks, and then all summer long there'll be these brand new episodes.
So fabulous. So how did you go from being a dancer, choreographer to hosting your own television show?
I think that's a question I'm trying to figure out. I think my parents are too.
Yeah.
I was like, Rodney, really? Oh my God. Yeah. Well, it was an opportunity. I mean, this is learning a lot about me. When I was dancing, when I first started dancing, and this was back in like 1989, and the evidence is out there. I had an opportunity to model to pay the bills while I was training to dance. And it was Joe Ginner Talent. And Joe Ginner, and the people in the community who know Joe Ginner, she was a phenomenal lady. What a character! She was truly the definition of a dame. And I love her. I loved her. She was so protective of me. And this opportunity, to kind of do commercials and to star in print ads and do all this and learn about the kind of this world of that you can be more than just a dancer. But I was like, well, I was really into dancing. I mean, I thought it was a way to pay bills, and it was an experience. And I did it for such a long time, almost up until grad school, in 2007, and I'm in grad school. I'm changing my art practice, and then all of a sudden I get this opportunity to do TEDx Dayton, to speak at TEDx, and kind of like this newfound process. And this is back in 2013, and Richard Nordstrom, who is a director of photography at videography at Think TV, and he was filming the TEDx. He said, "Hey, we did a commercial," and I was like, "Oh my God, yeah!" We started talking, and so he mentioned my name as a possibility to host the show because they were the community. There was a conversation about having a show that dealt with art and culture. There's several shows like it across the country, and we had the opportunity to be a part of it. And they said, "Well, who could be a host?" And they were like, check out this guy Rodney. He's got experience. And not experience.
He's got just a wee bit of charisma, that guy.
Just a touch, not a lot, just enough, just enough to be obnoxious and dangerous.
No,
that's true. I mean, I admit it. And so I got a phone call from Lynette Carlino, who's the series producer, and we met at Boston Stoker.
Nice.
And we had a conversation. It was supposed to last a half an hour, and it lasted 2 hours. And then it was like, would you come in and audition on camera? Because there were 2 other people that they were considering as well. So I came in and I auditioned. Thank you, Joe Ginner. You're up there. She's passed away. Just all that experience of learning how to read a teleprompter and being comfortable on camera and having conversations. Like, I learned those.
As I mentioned, I'm going to need pointers.
Yeah. And it paid off. It really had paid off. And so they offered me the job. I'm sitting there like, where's this headed? And we started filming, and the show has taken off. And it's, we received. We just found out this past Thursday, we got 2 Emmy nominations. So I'm like,
well deserved.
I'm kind of like a regional Emmy. I'm like, wow, how's that? I'm like, and I could actually have a statue, and I thought, an Emmy statue. Okay, this is. I'm still processing. Like,
oh yeah, I'm sure.
And it was really funny. Lynette says, now you'll be forever known as an Emmy nominee.
Yeah. Add it to the long list of accomplishments. Yeah.
And so that's how it came about. And I think there must have been something in the water and that people are trying new things in our community. And like I said, the support and the response to the show has been amazing. Like, people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
And that's cool to me. I mean, that they're getting exposed to art and culture, and it's not about, I'm a millionaire and it's only for me. It's like, no, it's the cashier in the line at the Tartan Marketplace at Sinclair. It's somebody just walking in the street. It's the senior citizen that I encounter at an event. So it's pretty cool,
And I love the format because you sort of introduce the show, you give a little heads up, this is what we're going to be covering, and then you are in between each segment. Now the segments are both locally produced and pulled from this bigger database.
Right, they're bigger database, and they're pulled from regional and national sources. It's a part of a national initiative with PBS to kind of that all the stations put their clips inside the pool and they pull them out. And our clips have gone in the pool and have been airing all over the country.
In fact, I know for a fact because I was honored to be one of the segments on the art show. And I have heard from people in Boston, Florida, and Arizona now that they have seen my segment. And so it's really exciting.
It is really cool.
And that was a really fun experience. The team that you work with is phenomenal.
Hands down, they make me look good. They make me looking good, sound good, and the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
Well, and you've taken it to another level now too, where you're doing more live interviews, or at least where you're interacting with people as opposed to just having you and the camera cut.
And then it goes to the segment. So,
right.
And as a matter of fact, we are actually going into. I don't want to mess up Lisa's name. Hapa Papuru.
I believe it's Lisa Hepapura.
Hapapura.
But perhaps we both
I don't know.
Our apologies to Lisa if that's
we
the case.
apologize.
Yeah. She's phenomenal.
She's phenomenal. And so we're going to go inside the studio next in 2 weeks. And we're going to interview her while she's making a sculpture of a bust of my head.
Oh, nice.
And so it's going to be kind of cool. She said she felt more comfortable in the art studio than coming to the set of the show. She said, I would freeze up. I need something in my hands. I said, and that's great that the fact that, we're about, let's make the artist comfortable. Let's do it in a way that it's not, give us what we want. No, it's like, it's a real collaborative, easygoing spirit, fun.
Right.
And it shows. I think it shows in the work. And
you've had graffiti artists create work on the set.
Yes.
And what else have you had as far as, or is this still building these?
Well, we've had a graffiti artist on the set. We've had a poet, Sierra Leone. She came and recited a poem that was phenomenal. Sat down with Megna Mahambre. She's with Megna and the Majority, which is a local band. She was on the couch and we showed her music video. So we're kind of, I think as the show evolves, and now that we have 2 Emmy nods under our belt, I think we can kind of safely say we're going to be around for a little bit longer than season 4. As a matter of fact, we're planning for season 4 and 5 as we speak. It's crazy to plan ahead in that sort of way. So I think the sky's are the limits. I mean, Lynette keeps coming up with ideas. I keep saying, okay, I'll try it.
Right.
And Talk about being out your comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
This is totally out of my comfort zone.
And they keep asking for artists to submit videos. They're expanding it, having little segments in between.
To show people what it is behind the scenes. I think that's why the show's so successful. You're finding out about artists and art practices that you don't really know about.
Oh,
and that makes a huge difference if we want people to be really excited and inspired by the art.
Yeah.
They have to know. They can't just go, let me just walk in the gallery and know nothing. Let me learn something. Let's put it in context. And it's also nice to put Dayton in context, that we have a wonderful arts community. We have wonderful artists who are working at all the levels. And there are levels to art making, you know, from the do-it-yourselfer crafter to the professional artist who's just out there on the not only the local scene, but the regional and national, in some cases international scene. Right. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a community that's it's unusual because we're in the Midwest, and no one in our town would ever question if you say you're an artist.
Yeah.
You say you're an artist, they're like, oh, I know an artist. I know so and so and so. Do you know someone? And I know you've encountered this, where people ask you if you're an artist and they name names and you know them.
Right. Yeah. It's a fabulous artist community. And you know, one of the things that you and I have been talking about recently is creating more content amongst our creative fellows, folks, and which is one of the reasons why I took on this project as a little fun side thing, and which is why you've been doing all the fabulous things. I think you had mentioned, what do you have in the works now?
Well, in the process of we're getting ready for, obviously the art show is getting ready for the 4th and 5th season.
Right.
But I also work at Sinclair, and one of the things that, and I'm a completion coordinator, which is, it's called Connect for Completion. And we're trying to help students not only complete their coursework, but also complete their degrees, and to see that it's viable to have an associate's degree as the first stepping stone to a career or to the next level of higher ed. And so we have these career exploration series where we brought you in as a professional artist to kind of talk to the students and kind of get us like what it's like to do what you do, but also what things you encountered as a part of the journey. And it's not textbook driven, but it's experience and personally driven. You know, that's kind of, that's a lot of times we always hear about the success, but we never know that there's a journey to that success. And so that's what we try to do.
And I think that's fabulous that you're working with these young people, because so many of them, as we discussed before the show began, are completely out of their comfort zone. In a lot of cases, their folks did not go to college. You know, maybe college wasn't even on their radar originally, but because of circumstances, here they are at Sinclair, finding themselves on the beginning of their journey. And it's nice to know that they've got you.
It's pretty cool.
Got their back.
and also too, that we've got a lot of people who never got a chance to be artists.
Yeah.
They never got to explore as a child. And that's why it's important to have arts education, because you may not end up being an artist, but you appreciate the process of and discovery, and it encourages curiosity. Intellectual curiosity is important. It helps in problem solving. And it's all these things that we do as artists. I think a lot of times we think we just kind of go, there it is. Yeah. No, there are calculations.
If only.
If only. I wish I could just create a ballet like that. And so it's time consuming. It's a time management. You're dealing with collaboration and working with others. Budgets. You can't just make arbitrarily. It has to be within the confines of, and art making is expensive.
Yes.
It is not a cheap proposition. So I think a lot of times knowing that and hearing that and embracing that kind of helps everything. Like it's an aha moment for the rest of the world. Like they go, oh, that's not just you drinking your beer and just kind of like, oh, I paint and then I walk away.
Right. It's not all romance.
It's we're not the lonely artist, starving artist. And I think that model is just a little.
No, I think people are realizing more and more that people like ourselves are entrepreneurs. Really, I mean, we are making our own paths. We are creating our own opportunities. Yeah. We are using our networks, our friends and family, and finding ways to do things a little bit differently.
And that's what all of I feel like all the things that I've done have taught me. Oh, that's what Blue Sky was. So this is it taught you that there was a different path to go down. But then we're a community with a lot of resources where you can be, as an art maker, try something different.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of opportunities for pop-up galleries, which is one of the things we talked about with that group of students.
Pop-up galleries, online presence. Think about working in non-traditional materials. That's another thing. It's like, here here I'm working with sod.
Yeah.
And the fact that, and I don't know if you know, my undergraduate degree is in visual arts and political science.
I did read that.
Yeah, so talk about like I said, how all these disparate things come together. I think it's finally coming together. It makes sense. And that's why I'm such an advocate for community. It's like artists have to participate in the community. I think we talked about this. It's like you can't just, you've got to be at the school board meetings. You've got to be at the city commission meetings. You've got to let them know that you are a viable component of the community, not just making it pretty and beautiful, but that you have an impact economically, you have an impact as a voice to change the course and direction of who and what Dayton is. Because that's a real conversation. I feel like a lot of people are saying we're right at the cusp of Dayton kind of really, truly jumping over. I think we've kind of played at it, but I think we're now right at the point of really jumping over. And so we're
starting to see signs with construction happening around the area, bringing in new residencies and such. But I'm sorry, you were about to say.
Oh no, I would totally agree. I think it's all of those factors come into it, and so we're ready. And so who are we as a community in the 21st century, not the past?
Right.
No offense to our past accomplishments.
Yes.
They are fabulous, but there's a moment and a realization we have to be hopeful and looking towards what is our future and what does it look like, what does it feel like, and it needs to be a future that looks like that we belong on a world stage.
Right.
And we are. We're ready. I think we could do. Yeah, we got this.
We are.
And that's what the artists from Blue Sky, the international artists who came in, were shocked at how much was here. And so a couple of our artists came back and lived here for a while to create their work because it was such an easy, affordable, and resource-laden place to get large-scale contemporary work made.
Oh, yeah.
That's game changer. I'm all about the game changing.
Yes.
Love the moves. Game change. Yeah.
Fabulous. Well, Rodney, I think we're finishing up here, so I want to see if there's anything else you want to say. I mean, seriously, you said like a lot of amazing motivational things. So I hope people are going out there and thinking, "Ooh, what can I do to add to this amazing community?" And if they want to send us a note, we're on Facebook, on Art Hops, or are there ways to contact you?
The art show has a Facebook page, thinktv.org. You can go on and you can send emails and suggestions for stories. Send us, that's a lot of it is there are ways to interact there, and also I just encourage people. Don't just sit on your couch on a Friday, or actually not on any day of the week.
Right.
Get out. There are opportunities to go out in the community. Go to Warped Wing. Go to an art gallery. Just do as much as you can, and also engage your kids in the process as well.
Yes.
Because if they're engaged in the process with you, they'll see that there's a value to it. That the arts are a valuable part of your life. That's my.
Oh, that's a beautiful end note. Well, thank you again, Ronnie, for being on the show.
You're my pleasure.
And thank you for joining us again for our second episode of Art Hops. See you later. Cheers.